All right, welcome to Lunch Therapy, everyone. I'm in the middle of Los Angeles right now. Things are a little crazy. We got a great guest today. We have Keith Ross Nelson. I don't know, we're going to find out the update from him. We're all in the middle of a lot of fires here in Los Angeles. It does not look like this here. There's smoke in the air. You can see a little bit of it here through this view. You can see that those are not clouds. That's smoke from the Palisades fire. Hoy, Todd Lee. Hope is all is well in the midst of the firestorm. Yeah. Hay is for horses, Mama J. So anyway, we're persevering because this is a place where we take the break from the crap. We're also very glad to be still in one piece here in the studio. So grateful to that, sending out love and healing to everybody out there who's lost their homes. This has been a crazy few days. Can you breathe the smoke? Well, we've got an air filter going on here. My cat is here who has asthma. But all in all, we're doing pretty well here. This is the map of the fires. And here's Keith. He's going to be on the show. He's in his car. We're going to hear from him in a minute. But yeah, you can see the fires. I'm going to turn Keith off here. You can see there's fires all around. So that has been really, and it seems like new ones crop up all the time, so you can never be sure what's happening. This is a website called Watch Duty, Watch Duty, as they say. And it is a site where you can go and see updates on the fires. You can see what's going on the right side there. It's really been nuts. So where are you located? Well, somewhere in the middle of those, I guess. Luckily in the middle of where the fires are, not in the fires. But the Pacific Palisades has been pretty devastated, Altadena. But we're here to take a break from the crap. So that's what we're going to do. Because that's our job. And we're here to do it. So here we go. This is Lunch Therapy. I want to mention one other positive thing on the hummingbird, in the hummingbird sphere. Got Kamala Lopez. She's fighting for equal rights in Washington, D.C. ERA. We're going to make this thing happen. This is her talking about it. If you go to Equal Means Equal, you'll see they did this wild action this morning. Put that banner up. Publish ERA. Just really something else going on there. They're going to make this basically the Equal Rights Amendment has to be published, and Kamala's doing everything she can possibly do to make it happen. So God bless her. Here's some more pictures. They dressed up like Dune prophecy. I don't know. So there's Jimmy Carter, who was a big proponent of the ERA. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, let's get into the show. That's what's going on in the world. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Okay, well, now we're safely into lunch therapy here. Thank God. It's our safe haven for taking a break from the crap. Want to say thank you to all the Patreons out there for making this show happen. These are them. These are they. They are these. Thank you so much for funding the show. If anybody wants to help fund this show, go to patreon.com/Joel Marshall to support independent media, independent comedy. We have a show on Tuesday where we do a contest. We give something away. And we also have a lot of really fun roving reporters and stand-up comedy and all that stuff on Tuesday. When Keith Ross Nelson was on last time, he was here on a Barefoot Tuesday, I believe, 4 years ago. telling crazy stories. So that was super fun. That was one of the episodes in the hundreds. Howard Aronin, safe haven is an understatement. Thanks for being there, Joel and Keith. Yep, we're doing our job. Entertainers in this kind of environment, you still have to, the show must go on, and it's a useful thing. So that's what we're going on here. We're going to breathe. Of course, it's going to be very helpful. I've got an air filter here. Hopefully people have them. So we got healing vibrations here. And we're going to take in 3 deep breaths. I mean, if you're in the middle of a bunch of ash, don't do that. But here, I think we're okay. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. In through the nose, out through the toes. Let it go. One more time, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Matt Wright has a very good point. If you're out and about in the Los Angeles area, anywhere in Los Angeles County, wear a mask. Some people are wearing goggles too, because this stuff is worse than you think. There's ash visibly falling. If you look at your car, it's covered with ash. I don't know where Keith is, and we're going to find out what's up with him. He's in his car. We know that much. So let's get into this thing. This is Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. I like the way I said Interview Friday, as if it was a question, because there's a lot of questions going on. I think the breathing thing is really good. Yesterday, all of a sudden, we got an alert where everybody in Los Angeles County was supposed to evacuate, and then we found out that it was a mistake. That was pretty, needed to do some breathing after that, I'll tell you. My guest today, Keith Ross Nelson. He and I met over Facebook, I think maybe during COVID when the first wave was happening there and Lunch Therapy just began. We were telling crazy stories. Lunch Therapy was on every day at that time, or every weekday. And he came on and told some really funny stories. Apparently, we had been at the Beverly Hills Playhouse, which was an acting school. It probably still is an acting school. But this was back in the day. And then, again, we met at JR's comedy show in Ventura. It was he and Gayla Johnson and I doing some comedy out there in a cool venue. And so that was really fun. So I'm just really glad to have him on the show today. He's gone to great lengths to be here. So let's do this thing. Interview Friday. Keith, thanks so much for being here. You're in your car. Where are you located?
I'm actually in West Hills right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is where the Kenneth fire broke out yesterday. Literally about 6 blocks from here, but it's looking good right now. They've got that one contained, I think, close to 40% now.
Wow.
So that's good.
These have been a crazy couple of days, huh? A few days.
Yeah, it's crazy because we live right on the border of Canoga Park and Chatsworth, and if you look north and south, we're literally there's mountains to the north at Porter Ranch, and then mountains to the south that you go over, to get to Malibu on Topanga and stuff. But literally, our house sits exactly about 2.5 miles from both of those places.
Oh my gosh.
So we're like right in the middle. So like last year when those fires, jumped the freeway and went into Thousand Oaks and West Hills, it got as close as a mile to our house and then it just stopped.
Wow.
And this is the same thing that happened yesterday. We got 2 evacuation notices. Of course, one was that one that these boneheads sent out to everybody.
Oh yeah, that was
by
crazy.
mistake.
That was so
Yeah,
scary.
it's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then the second one really was, but then they changed it because, fortunately for us, the Kenneth fire, the winds tend to blow southwest most of the time up here. So any fires south of us don't get to us. That's the good news. And the fires north of us, they've got somewhat contained. So that's the good news right now. The bad news is the winds are supposed to pick up really hard again on Tuesday.
On Tuesday?
So, yeah, that's what the word is. We'll see what happens. But the winds are very low right now, so that's good. If they stay like this the next couple of days, they might be able to get control of all this BS.
Yeah. Yeah. It's incredible what's happening. And it's also hard to kind of keep focused because it's just things going on all over the place, distractions and people having to evacuate. And that's the thing too, is when that alert went out, my thought was like, everybody in LA County is going to suddenly get on the highway.
Yeah, that's insane.
I was I was getting messages from all kinds of people saying that they were and they were like all over LA County getting these messages. So yeah, that's pretty wild.
And of course we're stressing because for 2 reasons. We've got a lot of cats and moving them is like, it's a nightmare. And then my wife works 5 blocks from my house and she had people coming up and picking up patients because she works at assisted living as a nurse. And she thought they were going to have to evacuate that place. And she didn't get home till 11 last night because, as a, what do you call it? Nurse, you can't just leave a facility when there's evacuation and an emergency.
Yeah.
So she worked from, 8 yesterday till 11 last night. And it was pretty stressful.
Oh my God.
I was supposed to get on a ship tonight, fly overnight to Chicago and then fly to Tampa in the morning. And I feel so blessed because I said, is there any way you can fly me into the Bahamas Monday night and I can just do all 5 of my shows in 2 days? And they let me. So I was just ecstatic.
Oh my God.
So instead of having to leave tonight and stressing for 3 days, wonder what's going on here, I only have to go 2 days. Well, 2.5 counting the night flight and be back, leave Monday night and be back Thursday.
Oh my God. So can you tell us a little bit about that about working on cruise ships? Because comedians so interested
in relation to this, what's interesting is, there's hurricanes in Florida. They had 2 that were within 2 weeks, really bad ones that, everybody knows wreaked havoc in Florida and in North Carolina and parts of South Carolina. And I've been on ships for about 6 years now, but in the last year, 4 times we've had to change directions and go somewhere else because of hurricanes.
Really?
So, these people that are denying,
climate change.
I don't want to get into the politics and stuff, but, Trump posted a thing yesterday about Newsom trying to save some fish and he canceled the Water Restoration Act.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing.
He just makes stuff up.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
He's just making stuff up. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I voted Republican before, but this guy, I'm sorry. People lost their homes. People have died. And you're posting lies for your stupid agenda.
Yeah, these things have ramifications. And when you just politicize everything, it's like so selfish and so unhelpful because people don't have the information they need, the actual information.
Yeah, and neighborhoods have been devastated, and you're posting stuff, you know, that's just lies,
Yeah. It
lie
just
after lie after lie.
makes it worse and worse. And now all of a sudden,
Makes it worse and
Facebook
worse.
is not even policing that stuff anymore.
No,
And
no,
everybody seems to be
because
just bowing down to this disinformation age or something. The
and
disinformation
to
age,
piggyback, and to
copyrighted.
piggyback on that, now the insurance companies are talking about, oh, we're not going to sell fire insurance anymore in California. You know, because they did the same thing in Florida about they're not going to sell hurricane insurance. So it's like, oh, okay, so your business is insurance, but then when the business isn't working the way you want it to work, now everybody can go screw themselves.
Yeah, I know. I'm so scared about, like, I have insurance, and if I don't pay it on time, I can't do auto pay. They're not allowing it because I feel like they're trying to get me to, miss a payment so they can cancel it.
So they can cancel you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I look all
Yeah.
over the site for auto pay. Nope. They're like, oh, sign up for auto pay. And then it's like, well, not that one. Yeah.
And of course, they can get away with this because in Congress, they're beholden to the lobbyists in the health insurance industry, the gun industry, and the insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So they can do whatever they want because as long as these guys are getting their kickbacks, screw the regular guy, screw the middle class, screw somebody with a home and children. We don't care. This is what we're living in now.
We're living in this bottom
So
line
it's very,
investor world where the only importance is on making a profit and increasing profits. That's what it feels like.
yeah, yeah,
And that's the priority over people. For some reason,
yeah.
we've decided, oh, we're going to give this priority over everyone's lives.
Right.
It's crazy.
You know, that's why this morning when Carnival sent me that and said, yeah, we worked it so you can go join in the Bahamas on Tuesday. I was crying this morning because I was like, because Carnival's a huge corporation.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told the lady, I sent her back, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I'll never forget this because, it gives my wife a breather. She knows I'm going to be home for a couple of days, only gone for a couple. And she came back with an email that says, we love you very much.
Oh my God.
They know that, I do a whole bunch of material about our cats and stuff.
Yeah.
And both the girls that work for booking for Carnival have dogs they've saved through shelters. So it's nice to know in the corporate world there's some kindred spirits,
Yeah, some humanity.
It meant a lot.
I think we all individually have to bring that to, whatever corporate thing that we're doing, because the corporations are such monsters right now. There's like a out of control monster that really, I mean, I have said this before, and maybe this sounds Pollyanna, but corporations are for people, they're for the people they serve. And I feel like they're also for the people who work for them, and that seems crazy. Yeah. That's a crazy thing to say, but it's actually should be serving the people that work for them as well, because that's their lives.
Right.
And we don't have any
Absolutely.
choice but to work for these corporations because insurance is so expensive, if you
Right.
don't. And that makes it impossible. Yeah, it feels like insurance, healthcare are things right now that are still fucked up, excuse my language, screwed up because it keeps us in place. Keeps us
Yeah.
Keeps us down.
And I hate to agree with that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be,
Yeah.
no one wants to listen to a negative Nelly, but man, it's like, it's hard, man.
Yeah.
And these our cats are almost all, there's 3 of them that were born in our house. All the others are rescues. They're all from outside. They're all feral that people moved away and just left.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our neighborhood.
Wow.
And it's like, so that's the society we're living in. We're living with people, and I'm not even trying to brag or anything that we saved all these cats. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying that, we live in a society now where half the people just do not give a shit.
I know.
And it's all me. And then the other half of the people that do get shit on.
Yeah.
By, again, it's just kind of sad.
It is.
But it is nice to know that there are good people out there that you run into. And, When you see people like in LA stepping up and offering their houses, or like Air Nub, saying we're giving free rooms right now, that makes you feel good. It makes you feel that you can be hopeful when Uber's giving rides for certain miles to people right now. There's a lot of good people still out there.
Yeah, Todd Lee makes a good point. Look to the positive, look away from the negative, waste energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Focus on the negative. Yeah, so we need to look at how can we contribute positively and change this as people, as individuals.
Yeah. And to Todd's point, as bad as yesterday was and stressful, and what I'm going through right now with my wife and these cats, hey, I still got a house right now. Yeah. So I got nothing to complain about. I'm blessed right now.
Yeah.
Those cats are all safe. We're still got a house. Other people have had their lives completely destroyed here in the last 72 hours.
Yeah. I saw a picture from, there's a little theater called Public Displays of Altadena that they've been doing great innovative work, and the whole thing burned down. Two of the owners have been the guests on the show. I was looking at Instagram, and a friend of mine showed at Christmas they were playing piano and singing, and then he shows the burnt piano, like the whole house is flattened. So
that's
so grateful to be saved in this so far.
Yeah. It's like you're living in a war zone.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
So anyway,
now we're going to move on a little bit from this, see if we can get ourselves away from it and into the interview. But I think this is part of it. This is totally
sure.
Part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jason Edelman says there are lots of lost things we need to do. Yes, I'm blessed. Todd says, surround yourself with good people, be a good person, practice kindness, empathy, tolerance. It's like a virus that can spread more people put it out there. Yeah. The more people put it out there, the more it spreads.
Let's put a good virus out there and let people catch it.
Yeah. Totally.
There's enough bad viruses. Let's send some good viruses.
Let's use the viral delivery system. So, okay, I do want to talk to you about, we had Jeff Shaw on the show. I don't know if you know Jeff, but he does cruise lines.
I love Jeff.
Yeah, and he was telling us a little bit about how that works. Can you tell us a little bit how you got into doing cruise ships and how people, it seems like it's a really good job to get.
It's got positives and negatives. The positive, you'll hear comics go, oh, well, they don't really, newer comics. Yeah. And when I say newer, probably under 35, but, oh, you're a cruise ship comic. But, they don't understand. I would say I've been on since 2020, right after COVID, I got on. And I've seen one comic in 5 years that I go, she doesn't belong on. He's just not good. Yeah. Everybody else is top notch.
You have to be. From what I understand, you just have to be. And you have to have a lot of material, right?
Minimum 2 adults of 30 and a PG of 30. You got to have a minimum of 90, and really you need 2 hours. You still need another 15 adult and 15 PG. In a perfect world, you have 2 30-minute PGs and 2 adults. So you don't have to repeat yourself. But that's the minimum you need. So it's it's got to be good.
It's got to be good.
Because everybody's good. Yeah. And these crowds, when they come in, you're dealing with people that have been drinking all day and been out in the sun.
Oh, God.
And they don't pay anything. It's part of their package. Yeah. They don't pay a 2-drink minimum or pay to get in. It's a free show.
Yeah. So they haven't invested anything really in it. And so they're just like,
there's nothing invested.
Make me laugh.
When I get on land and I do a road gig or I do something around town, they're so much easier to do.
I bet.
I just feel, wow. You get good doing ships because you're doing 5 or 6 shows in a week. A lot of times you're doing 2 or 3 in a night. And it's just like, you can't help but get better.
Yeah, I was amazed too of how professional you were at the JRs when we did that, because you did like, I don't know how long you did, like 40 minutes, something like that. And that crowd was like not set up correctly, like they were all like in a line.
Yeah.
And wasn't a lot of people, but you just owned the room the whole time. And I was like, God, he's such a pro. I was just amazed by that.
Yeah, because you learn how to squeeze. Oh, I was gonna say you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is. Yeah, and it's weird. You'll have shows, because they do like some cruise ships do a 3 o'clock and a 6:30 PG.
Yeah.
Well, 6:30 is when a lot of people eat, so those are always lightly attended, and it's a clean show, so those are really hard. And then sometimes you have an 11:30 adult show at night. Well, a lot of these people go to bed before 11:30, so those shows can be really hard. So, but then you can have an 8:45 or a 10 o'clock adult, and they'll be packed, literally standing room only.
Wow.
So you have this, what's the word? You have this huge spectrum of different type of shows, depending on the time of night and how many people are there. And then here's another thing. As the week goes on, more sun, more drinking, they get more tired. So like if you're doing the adult 10:30 show on the last night before they leave the ship, those are like really hard.
Oh my God.
You're going along and you're killing every show, and all of a sudden you're having trouble, and it's through no fault of your own.
Yeah, they're just exhausted.
Right. And it used to be that the guest host gave you your grades on the show. Well, now it's the entertainment director, and they might just come in and see one show. Well, what if they come in and see that 10:30 show?
Yeah.
Or the 6:30 show? And they're not really equipped to judge comedy, but they're now your judge, jury, and executioner.
Oh man, it sounds wild.
There's a lot of stress.
Everybody's like, I get that job, and then I'll just go on cruises all the time, and it'll be great.
Yeah,
it's like you got to be like top of the line.
And stuff happens. Flights are canceled, and then you get. It's just that we have a saying: we don't get paid to do the comedy; we get paid to travel, because the travel is stressful.
Yeah.
You're changing time zones. Flights get canceled. The way they book it is they try to get you the cheapest flights. So, like for instance, I'll be flying from Belize. Well, Belize should be a 3.5-hour flight to LA.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they'll fly me to Miami and then to LA.
Oh no.
But like last time they flew me Belize to New York to LA because that was the cheapest flight.
Wow.
It's insane. I fly 4.5 hours to New York, 5-hour layover, and then a 6.5-hour flight to LA and get in at 11:30 at night. Take the bus to Van Nuys and then the taxi. By the time I get home, it's 2 a.m. I got up at 6.
All right. Well, I have a question for you that's totally irrelevant, but I mean, not irrelevant, but off the thing. What's up with the upside down LA hat?
Oh, I just thought I like cool. I like hats that are just different and cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw this the other day. I go, oh, I got to have this.
You're also a shoe person too, right?
Yeah, I get my Nikes once a month. So yeah, I got quite a few.
Last time you were on the show, we were talking about how you were there when the Nike was invented.
Yeah, because I was at University of Oregon. I was a little bit after it was invented, but I did have I think we said this on the other show. I did have one of the first 100 pairs of shoes that were made off the waffle iron at Bowerman's house.
Did you keep it? Did you keep the pair?
No.
That'd be like a museum piece now.
Yeah, it would. And sadly, I went through 2 pairs at Oregon, and then that was it. I should have said I lost a pair and then kept one for myself, but who knew at the time?
Yeah. How did you? Did you always want to be an actor? Is that how you started out with entertainment? Because you're an actor and a comedian.
It kind of happened when I was in college. You sit in those big lecture halls with 300 or 400 people, and it was 90-minute lectures. And you're doing like prehistoric biology. It's 90 minutes of that, and you just want to shoot yourself in the head. So you think it's part of your electives.
Yeah.
So I started cracking jokes during the lectures,
Yeah.
That's how it kind of started.
Really?
And then
What do you mean,
my
just
friend
talking
said,
while the person's lecturing, just be like heckling or what?
I would never do it at the teacher's expense. I just
Yeah.
make a joke about trilobites or something like that, or the
There's a lot of humor.
Pleistocene era,
There's a lot of humor in
whatever he was,
trilobites for sure.
whatever the crazy stuff he was talking about.
Yeah.
Cro-Magnon man, the first guy that how they
Zinjanthropus. One time
yeah,
playing,
stuff like
I was
that.
playing that game. I was playing charades when I first got to Hollywood because a lot of actors like to play charades, and
Yeah,
they put like things in the hat, that you pull out of a hat and then you have to act it out. And I put
right.
Zinjanthropus, and I've never lived it down. My
Gee.
wife always brings that up whenever something like that
Yeah.
happens. She's like, "Don't put Zinjanthropus," but it's because I
Oh my
probably took
God.
a class like that. Took a class like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's how it kind of started. And then I got talked into going to an open mic, and then, kind of like heroin, I got hooked.
Yeah. So they had open mics in Oregon at that time?
No, this was like, okay, so I went to Oregon my freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was a high jumper, and I got tired of jumping in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So I transferred to the best track school on the West Coast that wasn't in the Pac-10.
Yeah.
So I'd only have to sit out 1 year. So that was San Jose State. And that's where I finished up.
Oh, wow.
And
you've
then
been
I
like,
started doing open mics. I started driving up and doing open mics in San Francisco.
oh, in San Francisco. So that's where you started out. And you weren't acting then? You just were doing comedy.
I was doing both. I was kind of doing commercial auditions, but I wasn't getting anything in San Francisco. And then this is a crazy story.
Yeah.
I moved to LA, and the first agent I walked into, commercial agent signed me.
No way.
Which is
It's unbelievable.
dude, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
Usually you have to send out pictures to like
Yeah.
a couple hundred agents, and then you got to call them, and maybe 10 give you meetings, and then if you're lucky, 3 want you, and you get to just, I literally passed go, collected $200, and I got my first agent. Now
Oh,
it took me a while to get a theatrical agent, but yeah, and she literally got me a commercial like a month later. I got a national for Miller Beer for like it was dunking a basketball or something. And I made like 8 or 9 grand. It was pretty cool.
Wow. Were you pretty like at that time when you started doing comedy? Did you know how to write jokes? Did you learn as you went along, or did you have
Well,
some kind of mentor? Or
I tried, and then the first 4 years I just kind of like flailed about trying to, you're just trying to write jokes.
Yeah.
And then I met a guy, Barry Martyr, who, if you don't know, he's a comedian, but he's more of a writer, and he is partnered with Jerry Seinfeld now.
Oh, really? Oh.
He wrote the movie Pop Tart.
Pop-Tart movie? Yeah.
Yeah, he made a shitload of money.
Good for him.
He made big money. Yeah. He had this movie called Pride of the Beavers back in the 80s, and he was at William Morris, and they paid him a lot of money for that. And then nothing ever happened with the movie.
Oh.
And then he just wrote, I think he wrote for Seinfeld, and he kind of kept writing scripts here and there and doing doctoring, kind of like Robert Towne did, for a long time before he did Chinatown.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he finally hit the mother lode with Pop Tart, and I think he wrote the B movie with
the B movie
Seinfeld too. Yeah,
wow.
I think he was part of that.
So
too.
he's
hooked up now.
Did he like mentor you or something, or did you just learn from him?
Yeah, he helped me write jokes for a while, for about 2 years, and then I kind of lost track of him. And then I was on my own for a long time, and I just kind of figured out how to write jokes. Not like guys that write them and they're really good, but I've kind of, I sit down and write. If something that makes me mad, that I write a list of everything about that, and then maybe something that is connected to that over in the right column, and then you kind of figured out what is funny about those two things, and kind of like that.
Wow. So do you write every day, or how do you?
No.
And what do you do?
I'm not.
With your new.
I write.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I write like probably 3 times a week, and then I always have like in my room, there's always a notebook on my bed, and in my car, there's a notebook. And then I'll be driving along. What I'll be doing is I'll get something I'm thinking about for a while, and then it just kind of sits there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, because I can't come up with anything, but I know it's something I want to talk about. And then there's things like the cats is always a subject because we've got so many cats.
Yeah.
I wrote one. I haven't tried it yet, but the other day I said, because my wife and my daughter are completely convinced she loves the cats more than us. So the joke as I said, if Carnival called my wife and said, we don't know what happened, Keith got off the ship in Honduras, he's been missing for 3 days, my wife would go, I got a sick cat right now, you're gonna have to call back. You know?
Yeah. That's great.
So I mean, you know,
I want to show a clip of yours here. Let me go back. Let me do that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been a very exciting group. It's good to load up on Prozac right before you come into a comedy show. Before I go, I will say this. All women should control all real estate on the planet. There'd be no homeless people. You know, give a woman 60 people a one-bedroom apartment. She could make them fit. I know this because I've been in the woman's purse. How do you guys do it? How do you get so much junk in one place at one time? You know the only thing more pathetic than seeing a guy in a mall holding a woman's purse, the guy digging through that thinking he's going to find what she put in there? If your wife or girlfriend ever asks you to get something out of her purse, just keep walking, pretend you didn't hear her, man. See a guy digging through a woman's purse like lipstick, lip gloss, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, powder, blush, hand, face, suntan lotion, Q-tips, condoms, handkerchief, curling, curlers, mousse and gel. Hairspray, hairbrush, hair dryer, toe cup, nail files, eyeliner, portrait, pencil, checkbook, wallet, charge cards, pictures, Motrin, aspirin, vitamin, perfume, panishes, bandages, Kotex, condoms, cleaners, Band-Aids, cigarettes, sweats, nylons, garters, underwear, cotton crutches, silk, bras, push-up, plunging, see-through, button front, button back, slips, t-shirt, blouses, sweaters, camisole, leotard, lingerie, pumps, flats, heels, jogging, aerobic, walking shoes, pins, needles, spoon, fork, salt, pepper, sugar, spatula, harlequin romance, and a handgun. So don't ever mess with a woman. You guys been very nice. Give Dan a hand. Thank you very much.
Wow, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about that particular one. Is that something that you like developed over time?
Yeah, I've been doing that for a long time. That first bit's it's an early bit. I think I've been doing it since '91.
Yeah, that's great.
But it's what's weird about that bit, because people always say, well, how do you remember all that stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like, if I go too fast, I'll make a mistake. If I go too slow, I'll forget.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember it because everything is in fours and fives.
Yeah.
And then as long as you do it rhythmically, a certain rhythm to it, the words just pop in my head.
Oh, I bet. But
if you slow down
the
rhythm,
think about it,
you know, it's like a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It's like if you learn a piece on the piano, like you really learn it by rote, and then years later you can just play it. But if you think about it, you're like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are the notes?
That's kind of That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
I would say if I do it 100 times, there'll be one time in there where I miss a word or I forget it.
Oh yeah.
You know. So. But on nights when I'm doing my clean show on the ships, I always practice it one time before I go on stage.
Oh, wow.
Just to make sure. Just to give my, kind of a warm up, kind of like swinging a bat before you go up to bat.
Yeah.
How do you build? That way I don't make mistakes.
How do you build your sets? I mean, do you just kind of have your act, or do you have like note cards and things like that?
Well, like on the clean show, I always start off. On ships, I start off with ship material first.
Oh.
And that's about 5 minutes. Then I go to marriage material because that's what they relate to. Mm-hmm. Then I go to my dad living with. I do a lot of material on my dad, making fun of him because he's 97. Yeah. And then I end with the cat stuff because it kills. The cat stuff kills.
The cat stuff is great.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Especially if on ships out of the South, because I have a line where I say, we got 30 cats in the house, 18 litter boxes, and yet the first smell that hits you when you come in the house is my dad.
Is your dad still around?
No, he passed away a couple of years ago, but I still do the jokes 90, on him. Because the last thing he said before he died to me, he goes, don't quit doing jokes on me. So I just tell him that he's still alive at 97. But so then I say the I say, basically, the inside of our house is the United States. The front door is the port of entry. The neighborhood's the world. I'm Trump trying to keep the cats out. My wife's Biden bringing them in. And, on ships out of the South, 80% of the audience is Trumpers. Oh my God, they go crazy.
Really? Oh my God. Yeah.
They go crazy because then they think I'm a Trumper and then I'm making fun of Biden.
Yeah.
And then of course I do the next joke is which is Russell Peters actually gave me this joke is I say, I'm a Republican, my wife's a Democrat.
Democrat?
Democrat.
Oh my God.
So
I love it.
yeah. So yeah, anytime I can get more cat material, I'm always happy.
Yeah. I remember Steve Martin used to have a lot of cat stuff too. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People love,
Hold on. I like to throw in bumpers every once in a while like that.
Right. People love anything about animals.
They do.
You can make it relatable.
Animals are great.
Yeah.
What
I'd
about,
love to have just 45 minutes of animal material.
because people enjoy it.
Yeah, they would love it. They would love me. They go, oh, he's the animal guy.
Can
you
you
could
tell
be
us,
the animal guy.
I just want to segue a little bit about into your production of series. Like you did a series on Amazon recently.
I did a series with a guy named Jimmy Dalla called Not for Nothing.
Yeah.
It's actually 3 episodes, but then he divided it into 8 and put it up on Amazon.
Yeah. So. I noticed that too. Like they're kind of short episodes and you can get them for like $2 or $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you produce, didn't you direct electives as well?
That's a crazy story.
Tell us about
it. So I did the electives and then we got a deal and then my partner who will remain unnamed told me because the production company that was offering us the deal was Black-owned production company.
Uh-huh.
And she said to me, and this is kind of the crazy thing, I brought her in because I just wanted to do the production side because I was writing and directing, but I had to give her a co-creator credit, which meant she had just as much power as me. And she said, I'm not giving our show over to a Black production company.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no, I can't. Well, wait till you hear the punchline. So I'm not giving that over to a Black production company so they can replace our actors with Black people. So I had to call my agent, who is my agent still today, who's Black, and tell her, oh, guess what? This is never going to happen because my partner is an idiot.
Oh, my God. That's one of the things that's difficult about partnering.
Oh, wait. So here's the punchline. Guess what that show eventually became?
What?
Abbott Elementary.
Oh, my God. You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
They took out my character. They moved the show from a high school to a elementary school, and that was Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
So imagine how I can't even turn that show on. Yeah. If I see it or I see something that says it, I change the channel.
So you think
because it brings up so much anger.
Did they just go, oh, we'll make our own show, or how?
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. They just
Why
change it slightly and
yeah. Do you have advice for people about partnering? Would you ever partner with somebody again like that?
Yeah, I already did.
Yeah.
I made another one that I'm waiting on right now.
Yeah.
With Buddy Lewis, he's great. Everything's going smoothly. Russell Peters is the host, and we're just waiting right now. We're trying to make a deal, hopefully.
Wow. So, when did you start writing? And did you start writing because you were like, I gotta make my own stuff because otherwise, Hollywood's impossible?
That's it. Yeah, this one I created, and it's called Global Comedy Express. It's comedians from other countries. And then Russell's the host. Yeah, so that's kind of the. Yeah, it's a cool idea. So, anyway.
And are you going to put yourself in it too?
I'm going to be hopefully segment host, where you kind of talk to the comedians right before they go on about their country and stuff for a minute, and then Russell does some jokes and brings them up.
That's going to be great. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
So fingers crossed. The good thing is I've already got the pilot made and I've got a star attached to it. So that gives us a better chance of it hopefully getting made.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I did it again. I did it again. So, yeah. So my question to you though is, are you a black belt in karate?
Right now I'm at 3rd degree.
You're a 3rd degree black belt. Is that something you've actively been doing your whole life?
No, since I've been doing that since 2010. So I'm in my 15th year, and I'm trying to get to 4th degree because 4th degree is in our dojo is you become a master, and then about a year later they give you the white coat. So if I can just, the problem is I'm missing class more now because I'm booked on the boat. So what I do now is I hit 2 classes instead of 1 when I'm in town to try to make up for the ones I'm missing. So we'll see.
It's amazing, like that. I mean, like I guess you've been an athlete your whole life, so you're in really good shape.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in good shape, I guess, for an old guy.
Well, but I mean, the fact that you're doing karate and you're going for a 4th degree black belt.
Yeah.
For an old guy is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm at the gym now. I'm going to go in and do weights today. Tomorrow I'll go to Kung Fu, and then Sunday will be a running day up the hill. And then Monday I got to fly, and then I'll probably work out on the ship Tuesday.
Oh my God.
Get home Thursday, and I'll be back in the weight room on Friday.
And what is that? Yeah, what does doing karate do for you? Does it do something for you mentally?
Yeah, Kung Fu is kind of, I found it's really, yeah, Kung Fu, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, karate's more coming right at you in a straight line, so is Wing Chun. Most of them are. Kung Fu is kind of, you go to the angle and block. Your first move is defensive, and then you come in and hit the person off of the angles.
And do you regularly practice that? Like, besides the classes, do you have like something you do every day?
Yeah, I do my forms almost every day. And then, I go to class.
And how did you get involved in that? Did you just say,
I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't want to get, my fear was I'd get in a bad dojo with a bunch of idiots. Because there's some bad dojos out there, and you can get, hurt. But the dojo I picked over in Burbank is just fantastic.
Oh, that's a really
and the guy that runs it, so I got a good dojo, and so I was lucky. The first one I picked actually turned out to be a really good dojo, so I feel blessed.
I imagine they're probably a little like acting classes where you can get a bad one and it could be like a cult.
Yeah, if you get a bad one, it can actually make you a worse actor. If you get a good one, it can make you a good actor.
Have you?
The BHP.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Playhouse.
Sorry.
That's where you trained, was the Beverly Hills Playhouse too? Back in the day?
Stellar reputation. I mean, good people come out of there. Clooney came out of there.
Yeah.
Kate Hudson. Gino Ribisi is out of there. There's another one I'm trying to think. James Cromwell, Beth Grant, great character actors. Directors, what's his name? Howie Deutsch, who directed both The Grumpy Old Men, Ann Archer from Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Good people, man.
Yeah, I remember
heavyweights.
When I was there, like feeling like that was a really great moment to be there. Probably it was around the time we were there. And I had Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah, I was kind of still. Yeah, I mean, I was still in my crazy stage. So, I would say in the last 7 years, I kind of settled down. The Kung Fu settled me down. So now I can kind of, I could be talking to you and literally go right into acting and you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. And what do you mean by crazy stage?
Just, I was too, how some people in theater, they're just kind of crazy and they like, when they're told to act, they're like, you look like you're acting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
I don't know if I mentioned this.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about this when I was in, when I used to live in Boston? I got up one day and I had my silver Buick, and I took it over to this bar over in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and we drank all night. And then I got up in the morning. I was hungover, so I paid this kid, Teddy, I paid him like $20 to drive me home because it was snowing and everything. I was too drunk to drive.
Mhm.
And I just got home and I was working for the uh, telephone company, and they told me a bunch of poles have been knocked down. So now I'm hungover, right? And they call me, I got to go fix these poles, and I'm all, still wasted. Okay, what I just told you is from a mammoth play.
Oh,
That's actually a mammoth play.
I
So
see.
I just did like
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Nice.
That play I did 9 years ago.
Oh my God, that's great.
And that's almost verbatim what it is. But did it sound any different than what I'm talking
No,
to you
I
right
was
now?
sitting here going, what is he doing in Massachusetts? Why was he working? He worked for the
Right,
telephone
right.
company?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's a
was
mammoth
totally
play.
not going,
That's what I'm.
he's
yeah.
acting.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It should be no different than when I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
I love
I've
that.
like literally the last 3 auditions, they were non-union bullshit stuff. But my last 4 auditions, I did one take with my daughter shooting it, and I booked all 4 of them.
Wow. Yeah, you got to look like
'cause
you
I'm
got.
just like-
It's almost like a magic trick, really, when it comes down to it, acting.
Yeah, it is, because you have to, first of all, you have to care, but not care, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that's something that I think
if
actors
you-
have such a difficult time with, because people are like, you have
Yeah.
to not care, and then they're like,
Yeah.
angrily not caring. Screw them, I don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's the first
Yeah.
stage you go through.
No,
where
no,
you're
and that's
angry,
not,
don't care.
it's just like, just bring yourself and talk.
Yeah, just be.
And I mean, you still have to have a point of view,
Yeah,
have a point of view of what, and, even scenes, like we always talk about movies have a beginning, middle, and end, and anybody that's written a script knows there's your first 20, there's your first 5 pages, then there's the 25, and then there's the second act is 25 to 55. 75 is like the hero's not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finish your last 25 or 30 pages and finish at 105, 110 pages.
Yep.
So, but scenes themselves have beginnings, middles, and ends.
Yep.
And, at the Playhouse People, we learn scenes either start positively or negatively. If they start positively, then they end negatively. And then the next scene starts positively and ends negatively. And it ping pongs back and forth. And you have to understand that to do that scene, that 2-page scene. Is it starting positively or negatively? And what happened right before this?
Mm-hmm.
Which gives you, your point of view as you go into that scene.
Yeah, your moment before. The thing too about the scenes that I think a lot of times people don't understand is like the scenes have to be like this happens, and then because of that, this happens, and that's the next scene.
Right.
And then because of that,
Right.
this happens, and that's that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't understand that. So you're telling this story that is turning on these events that happen. Each scene has an event essentially.
Yeah, like yesterday was a perfect example. It started out a shit show, and then this guy sets another fire in the Kenneth. We're told we're going to have to evacuate twice, and then they get that fire under control. And now I'm sitting in the area, literally 6 blocks from where it is. There's hardly any wind, and you wouldn't know there's a fire anywhere.
It's crazy.
So that started negatively and ended up positively. And the movie is still being told because we still got fires going. We're not sure
we don't know what's
going
going
to
to
be
happen.
the end here.
Yeah, that's
Right?
so good.
So perfect example. There's your life imitating art right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you were doing a movie or a scene, that would be it,
Did you learn all that structure at the Playhouse, or did you learn it through Robert McKee? Or
yeah, I learned, the great thing about the Playhouse is they got really good teachers there, and you can do it any way you want. You can do method, you can do Stanislavski, you can do just delivering the lines.
Meisner or something, yeah.
Meisner or Milton, who's the teacher there.
Yeah.
God bless, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to a lady, Diane Castle. She does method, but instead of doing like everything about you, her method is like, for instance, that scene I just did, that guy's an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to imagine myself being an alcoholic in Boston. She had me do that play. She had me working on that for a year. Mm-hmm. So an hour every day I would have to do everything I could think about being an alcoholic. I'm living in a shitty apartment. I got roaches crawling around on the dishes because I never do the dishes because I'm drunk all the time. I get up, I go to Tony's liquor store every morning and get a couple bottles, and then somehow I'm staying employed, even though I'm kind of a functioning alcoholic in that play. So, everything about that, the relationship I lost with my daughter because I'm a, messed up alcoholic.
Yeah.
So you dig deep into all those things, and that's your method. And then that's how then you can just sit there and be that person. So
you do all your work
so
and then you let it go.
Yeah, you still do all your work, but at the end of the day, it should still be Keith Nelson just talking and not looking like he's acting.
Yeah, and if you've done your
Michael
work,
Caine
then
has
that
a
other
saying,
stuff will be there.
Never let them catch you acting.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a great saying, isn't it?
That is a great
saying. If they catch you acting, you're not a good actor.
And that's what they used to say about Brando. This is he would just walk on the set and there'd be no difference. And that's what they say about Clint Eastwood too, that he's like directing and he just walks into the scene and but if you've done all your work
from him.
on it,
because Eastwood does, he never says action. He goes, the cameras are rolling now, so whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Because he said that when he was doing Rawhide, he would notice when they'd say action, the horses would jump and run away.
Oh, really?
So he said, I said, you know what? If it's doing that to the horses, it's probably doing that to the people. Because if I'm sitting here talking to you and then you say action, all of a sudden, now I got to act.
Yeah.
But if you say cameras rolling, whenever you're ready, Cazale used to do this thing with Pacino on Godfather and Dog Day Afternoon. When they would say action, he would continue talking to Pacino about whatever they had been talking about before they said action. And then he would just, like what I just did, then he would break into the scene.
Yeah. That was great what you did, where you did that monologue. It was like so seamless and such a great demonstration of acting. I really appreciate it.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know
what? I'm going to have to end the interview. I should probably let you go
Thank
too
God.
because it's crazy out there. But this has been really nice.
There.
Real nice.
We got to go check. We got to go look outside and see where the smoke is.
I've been watching the news and it's so weird.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's like being it's like you're watching the movie Armageddon, but you're actually in Armageddon.
But you're in it. Yeah. We had fires. The Hollywood Hills caught on fire, and my cousin down the street.
Where are you at right now?
We're at Highland and Olympic, like that area, like near Mid Wilshire.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of town, but then she points out her window and she sends me a picture, and there's big flames like in the distance, and we're kind of like, well, wait a minute, maybe we're in this thing too. And then I'm watching there was just this feed where it was like a helicopter and you could only hear one guy talking, and they're showing that fire in the Hollywood Hills, and it looks like the surface of the sun, and the guy, every once in a while the guy goes, oh no. And you're like, what? What?
You don't want to look out your window and see a fire and hear the guy on TV talking about your fire and saying, oh no. Yeah. That's not good.
It's horrible. Yeah. So
I do thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate it.
To everybody out there, I hope you stay safe. I hope you all keep your homes, and sending healing, love, and prayers.
Yeah. All right. Have a great one and stay safe. Keep us posted. Keep me posted.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll see you later. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Dance break time. Thanks everybody for being here. That was Keith Ross Nelson. This is Clara Rose and Dara Slack.
I've got so bright. In my window picture every night when it's over. I know I'm gonna can't let go. You don't like to see me standing around. Feel like I was shot and didn't fall down when it's over.
Thanks everybody for tuning in today. Good luck, everybody. Stay safe. Stay out of the fires. We love you here at Lunch Therapy, and we need you here. We'll see you all on Tuesday.